What's up, everybody? My name is Cap, the Everyday Gamer, and welcome back to Minecraft, episode 14, I guess. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I've been messing around with different seeds, trying to generate some pretty cool terrains and whatnot, and this is actually generated from the seed of using my gamer tag, Cap00, and that's capital CAPP00. And so I got these little floating islands and, sheer cliffs jutting out of nowhere, and kind of this deep valley system going on here. And yes, as you can tell, I'm using the fly mod just so I can zoom around and see a little bit easier, but it's pretty cool. Lots of trees and lots of I think this little mountain range up here, it's got these little caves coming out of the side. I was going to explore those a little bit more after I finish this video, but pretty good little starter place for a home right there. Got you some coal. Seems to go back a ways. It's pretty dark, so I'm not going to go back too far. Anyway, all I was really going to talk about in this video is game development and my thoughts on it. Notch and his Mojang company just released a statement today about how they're going to handle mods. They've been toying with the idea of doing a mod API so that anybody that wants to develop a mod can, and use their built-in API to, manipulate the system as needed. Well, they kind of changed it now, and so that if you want to be a mod developer, you have to apply for a mod license, and there'll be some fee with it, and you'll be granted source code to the engine, basically, and then you'll be able to digitally certify your own mods. Now, I'm not a modder. The only one I use is just a fly mod, so I personally am not affected, other than just I hope Zomb, the guy that made the fly mod, I hope he's able to. I don't know what the funding's going to be, but they said it was going to be set to a point where not just every single person in the world could go ahead and get a certificate. So maybe interesting to see what kind of stuff would come through it. And then they also stated that what they would be doing is if they saw a mod that they just really liked, they would license it from the person who made it, and they could sell it to them, basically, which could be a good way for some of these people that just like modding for fun to make a couple extra bucks here and there. I don't know, what kind of rates and stuff they're going to do, but I personally like Mojang's entire business model as far as game development. I mean, the game is in beta now. I've been playing it since alpha, and it's just a lot of fun. And the fact that they take user feedback, and it's basically every time they make any kind of change or any kind of developmental thing to it, they get the feedback from the community. They have an entire wiki set up on just bugs. People can post comments on stuff that they want to see differently, stuff that they think is broken, or whatever, and they'll actively work on trying to fix it. You don't usually see that from other developers, at least the bigger ones. They're usually pretty hush-hush about what they're working on, and kind of leaves you just kind of guessing as to what they're doing. So I like the way they do that. Something else I was going to talk about, and hopefully it doesn't get too dark where you can't see what I'm flying around here, but something else is how larger developers, the AAA titles, do beta testing. Now, I know currently the Gears of War 3 beta is going on, and I don't play the Gears of War multiplayer, so doesn't bother me. I'm not going to jump in on it at all. I play Gears of War for the single player campaign because it's got a good story and it's a lot of fun, but multiplayer is not really my cup of tea. Anyway, but I don't like the way that they're doing the beta release. They're doing it the same way they did with Halo 3 when it came out, by forcing you to buy a game you don't necessarily want. Oh, that's cool. In order to be able to play the beta. Now, unfortunately, with the Halo 3 incident, you had to buy Crackdown in order to be able to play in the beta for Halo 3, sorry. And it worked out as Crackdown ended up being this awesome game. Part 2 was kind of a flop, I guess, in some instances, but part 1 was awesome, and it really turned me on to a new game. With the Gears of War 3, now you got to buy Bulletstorm and be able to do it. And it looks a lot of fun and everything, but it's not something that I would play more than once through. Having no multiplayer, really, other than just time trial based things, kind of keep me from wanting to do it anyway. So I don't know. I really hate the fact that developers keep throwing their betas on top of other games. I think we could end up with some really good games out there if they would do a public beta. And we have the best platforms to possibly do this on. Make the download installer on Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. Anybody that wants to can just download it, start playing, limited it to a map or two like they would with the normal beta, or however they want to go about limiting it for a short amount of time. And then when it's done, it's done. That's it. You don't have to. That way you don't have to go out and spend $60 on a new game, and you can participate and provide feedback for this. And something else that they need to do when they're fixing stuff in a beta is they need to re-release the beta. Release beta version 1.0. And then after people play it and say, oh, by the way, there's these huge flaws and bugs and it crashes the game when you do this. The developers need to go in and fix that and then release beta 1.1 and see if that actually works. The problem with these public betas the way they do them now, and by shipping them on a disc, is they extremely limit themselves. And so what they do is they release the beta so everybody can play it for, a month or however long they set the time for, which is usually just a couple weeks. They collect this massive list of bugs, and then they start working on it, but they don't ever release any kind of further public testing, whatever. They just hope that come release date they have them all fixed. And then of course release date comes along, they're like, oh, we didn't foresee this little bug coming up, blah blah blah. Well, as a software developer myself, I can tell you that fixing one bug often causes another. It's just the way it works. And you got, just the programs that I write have thousands and thousands of lines of code. I go through and change one thing, it can affect everything. It can change the entire program. So doing a major change or adding a major feature can completely cripple something else that was working just fine. But they don't do that. Now, they release one beta, they drop it on a disc, and make you buy it on a game you don't necessarily want just to be able to participate in this very small window. And I don't know, I disagree with that. What do you guys think? This is kind of an open discussion. Not really doing a whole lot here. It's kind of a pointless video other than just me supermaning around the world. So, just kind of expressing my thoughts on game development. Now, I'm not a developer for games at all, so I don't know what all goes into it. I mean, I do programming as far as like desktop applications. I've written a password manager and an IP address monitor and some network-based stuff and encryption tools and whatnot like that. But so I don't get into game engines and graphics and rendering and all that other jazz. That's beyond my scope of knowledge for programming. But I do know that what it takes to, provide good customer service for my customers. If they call in and say, by the way, when I do such and such in your program, it causes this error. Well, I can go in and fix that and re-release it, see if that's any better. And if it's not, then I can try again and whatnot. But I know it's a little bit different for developers of games, so I'm not even going to try and compare myself to them. There are millions of lines of code and source engines and all this other jazz. But that's something else, too, is that I think developers need to spend a little bit more time, upgrading their engines. Like the Call of Duty series. Even the newest game, Black Ops, is still using the exact same engine that Call of Duty 4 used. A few minor tweaks here and there, but there's been no major changes in 4 years. So, when people play the game, they're like, oh man, this game is just not working the way it should, or blah, 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 whatever. It's all because it's using the same engine. They're just tweaking it. They're not actually updating it. And now I can't even imagine the amount of code that goes into creating, changing, updating, however you want to word it, to an entire engine. But considering that each of the developers have a 2-year development cycle between the times, I mean, they could dedicate an entire team just to increasing the engine from IW3 to IW4 and add, more fluid dynamics and improve physics and, the biggest thing, make sure hit detection actually works. That's a big one in my case. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm just kind of rambling on about game development, but I don't know. What do you think? I really would like to see that become the norm for a big AAA title. Next Call of Duty is coming out, and say 3-4 months before it actually releases, we can go to Xbox Live dashboard, see that there's a new beta out, download it, install it, play the crap out of it, however we want to, be able to have a feedback system, say, by the way, I think it should do this, or it crashes when I do that. They fix it, re-release it. All you have to do is just update your beta download, continue playing, and then they get done and say, okay, now all we have to do is just finish polishing it. In a couple months, you'll have the full ready version. So, I mean, I think that'd be a perfect, easy way to do this, but who knows if they actually will. I don't even know if they ever even think about doing that. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, it's the easiest way to do it, other than just marketing. And I know business, they're just trying to sell games, especially if it's a game their company made or one of their subsidiaries made. Of course, they're going to whore it out as much as possible, but doesn't mean it's any less annoying. So anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, because I haven't really done much anyway. Go check out what this light is over here first. It's awfully bright. Ooh, a wolf. I don't have any bone, though. See, I've got nothing on me. I did find some squid, so I got ink sac, but anyway, I'm going to leave it here. If you want to, check out I hate to say check out my seed, because that sounds dirty, but yeah, you can just kind of check it out. Pretty decent terrain, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be talking to you soon. Later.